All right, everybody, how we doing out there? Doc Severson with you here, ReadySetCrypto. Welcome to Crash Wednesday. This is, we're seeing a lot more distribution than we normally see. Let's go ahead and get in the charts here. I'm going to stick myself down in the lower left-hand corner. And this is Bitcoin on a weekly basis. So you can see that this week right now has already started to, let's get the magic pen going. We've already started to undercut what we saw from last summer. All right, so over here, we're looking for this. Now, an undercut is not necessarily a bad thing because we saw this undercut back here on BTC versus the US dollar, and that led to a terrific rally, right? So we could be seeing the same thing right now, although what I will say is that if we end up undercutting and if we do not find any support, then I expect this to go all the way down to this area here, which is right around 20,000. And I'll explain that why in a couple of minutes. So welcome aboard, everybody. Let me know where you're coming in from today. Again, my name's Doc Severson with ReadySetCrypto, and Mav is not here today. He's out traveling on the West Coast, having a good time. So he's been sending us pictures of beautiful places on the PCH. So let us know where you're coming in from today, guys. Let's see who we got. Yeah, Zach. What's up? Yeah, Terra Luna Connect. My God, did that get destroyed? Aussie Slade, how you doing? Hey, Vaude. Zach coming in from Hamburg, Germany. Down 30K. Bronx. All right. Ray, you're right here in town. Coming to you from the North Main area. All right. We got Aussie coming in from Question Everything. Digibyte Barry in the Netherlands. Welcome aboard. I'm sure we'll get around to doing a little bit of TA and Digibyte. Kazza coming in from Ireland. All right, welcome aboard, folks. All right, so first of all, again, taking a look at Bitcoin versus the US dollar, we are getting that undercut. This is something I've been looking for quite some time. And let me show you what we have to watch out for here. This is called volume profile. What this shows is the amount of trading that occurs in that specific price area. Now, what you'll notice is that when markets rallied back here, and this is at the end of 2020, there was literally no volume. It just went straight up here at the end of 2020. Straight up into that area, and there it hasn't been touched since. So what we have is almost a black hole, almost a vacuum down here at 20,000, between 20 to 30,000. So the concern that I have is that if it starts to undercut, if it does not find any support down here, then we could see 20,000 in actually a matter of hours. It could come in a matter of hours. So don't be surprised if you see 20,000. So what I want you guys to do, and this is not a recommendation, this is not me telling you what to do, this is basically telling you what I am going to do, is set up a limit order just below 20,000, something like 19,500, wherever you feel comfortable with that, and let yourself get taken in on a limit order. That's what I intend to do, because we should, and air quotes should, we should see a lot of support down in that area of about, just below 20,000. We should get an overshoot into that, and that's why I'm saying don't put it at 20,000, put it just slightly below there. So you'll get an overshoot from people that have stop losses down there, believe it or not, which will push it down just slightly, but we should get somewhere down in that area. So there's no guarantees. We don't know where it's going to be, but there should be support enough to generate some type of relief rally back up. Yeah, the whole Coinbase thing, that's hard for me to believe. Hard for me to believe that, what you would consider to be the most trusted exchange-based company in this in this space is going through something like that. So could be an opportunity for folks like Gemini, could be an opportunity for folks like Voyager as well too, some of the other exchange-based companies that are out there. But everybody's got their warts. So if we go down to the 12-minute chart, we can see exactly what's happening here. We see some high volume probes in the last few minutes, coming down to about 28.2 and then bouncing up from there. You guys crack me up. All right, so that's my story on Bitcoin right now. Be careful of that. We're going through what's called, this is the price discovery process. We are going through the process of capitulation. And we went through this in 2018. It didn't happen very quickly. It took a long time for it to play out. This has been a year in the playing now because we did hit the top in, July. And really since the November timeframe, we've been having very difficult price action through here. So what is that back here? Yeah, November 21 is where we hit our all-time high. So this is a bear flag, right? So bear flag is attached to a flagpole, and then it represents what can be a halfway house in the move. So again, that also represents that we may get a move down to this area. We should get a hell of a rebound off of there. Okay. All right. So let me go through just a couple of coins. If you guys want me to take a look at any coins in particular, I am not probably the person to ask in terms of the Coinbase situation, or if you want to know, if you guys want to talk about, Tether or anything like that, probably not the guy to talk to about that. My specialty is in the charts. If you want to look at any specific asset in the charts, that I can do all day long. Is this a head and shoulders pattern? Not really. There was more of a head and shoulders pattern, I would say, back here. This is more of the head and shoulders pattern, I think, that you're talking about, like that. But it had the neckline got violated, so I'm not going to worry about that one so much. This is too big for a left shoulder. This still, if we look at this on the log chart, and if we go out to the monthly log chart, this still is a reasonable consolidation. Now, what I see all the time, and we saw this example right over here, is consolidations tend to last for quite a while. They do not break out to the upside like you think they should. What they typically will do is they break to the downside first, and then they explode. And that's exactly what we saw on this move here. We're all consolidated. We're all ready to go. All it takes is a catalyst, and that's what causes that. There's another thing, too, that you have to understand is that for price to go higher, it has to go lower first, because what you need to do is to build up the negativity to the level that nobody believes that the price will ever rally again. Watch what happens on the next rally that we have. When we do get a real rally that comes along, let's go back down to our weekly chart again. Okay, when we get a real rally, watch what happens, not only with yourself, your friends, everything like that. So let's just assume that we do some kind of probing down here, and then we start to see the price rally. What's going to be the first and most obvious comment, which is going to be on Twitter or Discord or Reddit or whatever you want to, it's going to be, oh, I'm not, that's going to be a sucker rally. That's a sucker rally. So I heard all of that back here, all of that back here. Those are all sucker rallies. We'll see the same thing happening here. When the real relief rally comes along, nobody will be on board because everybody's going to have their head stuck in the sand, just like an ostrich. Okay, let me take a look at some of the coins that you guys want to take a look at here. So the first one here that I have on the list is ADA. So let's go take a look at Cardano. And, Obviously, everything is going to look terrible today. So there's going to be no coins that are going to be out there where they're going to look good. So what I want to show you guys is what to look for. What to look for before you get on board. So you don't know where this thing is going to end up on the downside. Now, 50 cents, you might say, well, that's cheap enough. I don't really care. I'll just buy in at 50 cents. But if you have a more expensive coin, so Cardano is probably not one of these. Let's go to the next one here. Let's see, FTM, Phantom. Let's go to Phantom. And we'll just do Phantom Perpetual. Okay, so this is another cheap one. That's down to about a quarter. Look at the volume coming in. This is capitulation type volume. In addition to the price action just becoming almost infinite in terms of the slope. Rise over run is almost infinity right now. There's no run. It's all rise. Okay. So this one's not going to be a good one to do either, because a quarter, what are you going to lose with a quarter? It's what I'm more concerned about is some of the more expensive one. Do we get in a bear market if BTC goes to 20K? We're already in a bear market actually through everything else. And the thing that you guys need to come to grips with is go over here onto index and look at the NDX. As long as the NDX is selling off, this is the Nasdaq 100. These are the biggest technology stocks that are out there. As long as this, and this is worth trillions of dollars. This is many, many multiples of times bigger than the crypto space right now. As long as this continues to take pressure, we will have pressure in the crypto market. Also watch things like the 10-year note. This is the 10-year note interest rate. If this starts to tail down, this will take some pressure off of technology stocks. However, it's also signaling that we may be heading into recession. If the forward rate of this starts to really drop, that's the market's way of saying the Fed is way behind, has no chance to catch up, and is already too late to do anything about it. Okay. All right, the next one is Railgun. Let's see if I can find Railgun here. This is one that we looked at last week. Railgun versus Tether. Okay. This one, we talked about this last week, and I said as long as this is holding the ascending trend line, you can stay in it. The second that this breaks below that ascending trend line, get out of it. So hold on to, we don't know where this is going to bottom out. It's only at $2 right now. I don't know how much of it you have, but remember, rule number one of risk management is before you enter any trade, understand what your stop out is going to be. It's that simple, but nobody does it. Because trying to figure out where to get out of a live trade is, like you go through this whole bargaining with yourself, right? You say, well, I'll let it go down, but it's going to bounce. It's going to bounce. Well, based on what? You don't know. You don't know if it's going to bounce or not. You don't know where it's going to bounce. Nobody knows what the future is, regardless of what people say on Twitter, right? Or Facebook. It doesn't matter. They do not know what the future is. So understand what your stop is going to be, where you're going to get out. You can always get back in again. So wait to get back in before this thing starts to make higher highs and higher lows. Once it starts to transition higher again, right there, that's your entry point. When it starts to accumulate, when it starts to move into an uptrend, then you can get back into it. It's much easier to sit into dollars or some kind of fiat currency, which is a bit more stable right now. Okay. Let's see, we looked at FTM, we looked at Railgun, Monero. Let's look at Monero. Okay, now Monero is an interesting case because this is one of the more expensive ones, right? This was hundreds of dollars at one point, and now it's coming down to support about 140. So again, this is the catch the falling knife trade, right? Catch the falling knife, don't get your fingers cut. Where's the bottom of this? Well, support is at 140, but there's no guarantee that support will hold. So even if we go back to a weekly chart on this one, support should be down somewhere in this area, right? And here's also the swing test from 2018, Monero is about 120. So support should be found somewhere in this area, but there's no guarantee. So why not do this? Why not let this thing just hammer out whatever support is going to be? When it starts to trend higher like this, then that's your signal to get in. So be patient. Let the trade come to you. Okay, so that's Monero. DA, I don't know what the best wallet is these days. Probably not my purview. A lot of people use, it depends if you're, if you want to use cold storage, if you want to use an offline wallet, hardware wallet, you can use software wallets. I'm a lot more comfortable with exchanges these days, regardless of the news. Okay, let's see. Chainlink. Let's take a look at massive Chainlink here. Chainlink versus US dollar. Okay. Chainlink. So let's see where the swing test on this one is down near 5. Right? So we're going to have some amazing bargains at some point here. We're going to look back on this and say, well, why the hell didn't you buy down here? Again, don't buy something heading lower in price. Wait till it heads higher in price. I'm going to keep saying that. I'm sorry if I'm sounding repetitive here, but you don't know if this is going to be here or here or here. Why not wait until it finds some support? It's going to be a noisy process. And then at some point, it's going to start poking its head up and start to throw off candles. If you want to use Heikin-Ashi candles, you can use Heikin-Ashi candles, which are over here in TradingView, and just set those for Heikin-Ashi candles. As long as these are red, stay away from it. Wait until they go green. And then you'll have a trending market. In fact, what I recommend is that you use weekly candles. Wait until the Heikin-Ashi starts going green, and then you can simply avoid all the pain. And wait till it starts to bottom. Okay? Let's see. What else do we have? Polygon. Let's see. What do we have here? I hope this is making sense to you. That's Polymath. Let's try Matic. Yeah, Matic. Ooh, this one's a... So we're down into 60 cents territory, and this is historical support for this. I'm actually going to get it off of the Heikin-Ashi candles because it sometimes distorts it a little bit. So if this does not hold as support, we don't know how low this can go. You don't know how low this can go. Wait till it bottoms out and turns around. Okay, Hex. I'll see if I can find Hex on here. A lot of times it's some kind of wrapped ether product. Okay. This one actually looks, this is one of the better looking coins that I've seen. However, this is what we call a bear flag. This is the initial swing down. Here's a bear flag, which is a slightly rising consolidation pattern. I would expect this to break to the downside. Watch for that. If it does not break to the downside, we may have a recovery out of there. But that's a bear flag for right now. Don't know where the bottom is going to be of any of these. Okay, Ripple. Let's go look at XRP. Ripple is coming back down into this area. You can see that there's been a lot of support. There's been a lot of trading right around 30 cents. So for the longest time, Ripple was right around 30 cents, right? So that should provide some support in the near term on this. If it does not, then simply wait for it to turn around. What is the next support for BTC? I would say 20K. Let's go back and look at BTC for a second here, since it may have moved since we were talking. So again, what I'm looking for, what I hope happens on BTC, just like here, what I'm hoping is that we get a slight undercut, and then that's enough to take out some stops, get the bears. If you weren't bearish before here, all of a sudden, all these weak hand bears go, okay, now I'm ready to short. That's what happens, right? So people are not confident about shorting up here, or they're like, Well, I want to wait until it makes lower lows and then I'll be okay. And that's too late. That's called weak hand. And this is what gets you into a short squeeze. So we could see a short squeeze that happens from here. It could happen. And the undercut is necessary for that. So we have the undercut. And so to see what's happening, I'm going to go down to a smaller time frame chart and see what we have going on here. So this is this morning. And this is the last few minutes here, and I don't see much of anything. I don't see any, I don't see this thing finding support yet. So it's getting down to 28. So if it loses support down here, it's going to be a very quick trip down to 20,000. It's almost like it'll drop in an elevator. You know what they say, prices take the stairs up and the window down. Stairs up and the window down. Okay. That is certainly ugly. All right. Let's see. Next one. We got Ripple. Next support. We got Solano. Let's take a look at Solano. How's everybody doing today? Solana. That's fine. Okay. Where's support for Solana? Okay, so this is a good example of one where's support going to be? It should be down in this area, right? It should be in this area. That was such a beautiful consolidation and breakout last July. That was amazing. And here we go back down again. So support should be found around 30 or so, but you just don't know. You just do not know. So watch to see how it holds support there. If it cuts through there, just wait until it starts to turn around. Wait until it turns around. Avalanche. Let's see Avalanche now. Okay, Avalanche is right now it's just under 30 bucks. We have also support should be found. I would say your next level of support is going to be down here about 13 or 14. That should be the level of support that holds. Right now, actually, it's at a volume, it's at a high volume node about 30. This is why it's holding there, because this is what creates support right there. And if it loses that, next step is going to be down here at about 15 or 14 or so. So watch for that. But again, don't try to catch the falling knife. Wait till it reverses. Even if you lose a couple of bucks on the movement there. Aussie Slade, our stock market's in the same downward spiral. Yes, it is. Everything. All assets are being sold right now. This is a big financial crash. POWR. Okay. I'm not keeping up with you guys very well here. I'll try to speed up here a little bit. Okay, POWR has no support. There's no visible means of support. That's a weekly chart. So this is a chart in free fall. It's not been around for very long, but it's in free fall now. Don't try to get in front of it. Don't step in front of the freight train right now, guys. Power Ledger. Is this a massive double top? No. No, actually, this has come from a higher high. We had a higher high in November at 66,000, whatever. Okay, is there enough time? DERO. I don't know what that question is. Okay, so the next level support for DERO here is right around 720. If it loses that level, then the next level support is down here at about 4. So I'm using volume profile here. It's about $7. Volume profile is the next level support for DERO. Yeah, Luna. We're not going to look at Luna. We just looked at Avalanche. We just looked at Solana. Ape. I haven't charted Ape in a long time. Let's look at Ape. Okay, so Ape is one of these things that was moving like crazy not long ago. This is a weekly chart. Let's go down to a daily chart. Okay, so here's what's going on. This is where something's making higher highs and higher lows, right? This is higher highs and higher lows. And now it's starting to it's gone from a higher high down to below here, which is a lower low. So there is no support for Ape. There is no support for Ape. Do not stand in front of the freight train and say support should be down at 4 or 5. You don't know where support is. Let this thing bottom out. Just let it go. All right. Let's see. All right, Space Lord. That's cool. Okay, let's see. ASTR. Aster. Unfamiliar with this one. Aster. Okay. Here's another one which has no visible means of support. So let this thing just puke until it starts to show a bottom being put in. It will look something like this. And then you'll see something coming back up like this. And that's your point where you get in right there. Because that is where it's put in a higher low, higher high. There's your entry right there. There's no guarantee it's going to go any higher, but you're putting yourself in a good position of buying a coin which is going higher in price. Okay, QNT, thank you for giving me the... Oh, that's wrong. Hold on. QNT versus Tether. There we go. Oof, man, look at that. Okay, so here's a more expensive coin now. $16 is a more expensive coin. Let this thing play out. Let this thing play out. Don't try to pick the bottom of this. Don't pick your bottom. Wait until it reverses and starts to head higher. Okay. Okay, GLMR. Wow. Is this helpful, guys? I don't want to feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but I kind of am. So I don't know where this thing is going to find any support. This one's on almost a infinity slope to the downside. So again, wait till this one reverses. Oh, Ethereum. Yeah, sure. Let's go to Ethereum. So we had an aggressive buy here. And again, this is where we want to make sure, we were in a position where the price could have exploded higher from here. And so that's why we'd say, hey, here's an aggressive buy. Here's a more conservative buy. Always make the price come to you. Always make it come to you. Don't force your wishes upon the market. You will find yourself to be disappointed over and over again. Okay, this is ugly. This is the same kind of look as we have with, that's the same look that we have, excuse me, with Bitcoin. We do have some support down here. We have some 2020 pivot support at about 2035. There's not much, though. Not much. We could have this thing go all the way down to the 2018 support, which was, there we go, 1,400. So I think this thing is probably heading for 1,400. That's where I see the next level of support. Okay, Nasdaq. Somebody wants to look at the Nasdaq. All right, I'm going to look at the NDX here. So this is NDX on the weekly chart, and really, when we're talking about something like this, let's throw the fibs on here. Okay, so we're just about at the 50% fib retracement. We're just about 50%. it would not surprise me to see this eventually hit somewhere down around the swing test. So this is not going to come all way. So we may get just a little bit more downside. We may get a relief rally back up to here like this. And then this is going to put in a monthly lower high. Usually the worst selling occurs on the back half of these moves. We have not seen a true bear market in the equities market since 2007 through 2009. And I think this one has the potential to be as bad, if not worse, because there's more things that are going wrong right now. Okay, what is support? Support is where you have generally more buyers than sellers. So you can think of support as, support means that if you have a bunch of people down here willing to buy with buy orders in, then what will happen is the buyers will overwhelm, you've got sellers up here, the buyers will overwhelm the sellers, and then what happens is the price ends up going up. It's just like auction theory, right? If you go in to buy a car at a dealership and nothing is being sold, there's nobody buying the cars, then what they have to do is they have to drop the bid until somebody says, hey, I'll buy that. And that's how you get things to reverse in price. And then all of a sudden, if a whole bunch of people show up at the same time and want to buy, then you have to raise the price so you can find that, just go to an auction, just go to a live fruit market sometime and you can learn about auction theory. Okay, so we did Ethereum. We looked at Ape. Let's do Decentraland. Oh my. Okay, so we are down to the very last level of support that this one has. Let's go to the weekly chart. So there's support down here for Decentraland at about 71 cents. And there is not much below there. If it goes below there, it could go down to zero. So you've got to assume that any asset could go to zero. It can. It's not for you or I to say what the market should do. Any asset could go to zero. This is why we have to be understanding of that. Ren, I agree with you. I think that we could get an undercut below 20,000. I think we can overshoot. You can overshoot through there. Yep, don't pick your bottom. Please don't do that. Okay, let's look at the next one. I'm going to, we'll just go for about another 5 minutes here before I lose my voice. It has been a long day. Now, here's one that you got to be careful of because this is, a more expensive coin. You've got something that's valued as $1,000, $1,100. And this is the same thing that you have to do with Bitcoin and Ethereum or anything else that's very expensive, is allow the price to play out. Just sit back and watch. Sit back and watch and wait until, and again, I will tell you guys, if you don't know how to read price action, that's okay. It's a skill that's learned in time. Just put the Heiken Ashi candles on there. And then when the weekly Heiken Ashi candles start to turn green again, then you can think about buying. But just let them play out. Let the trade come to you. Right? Be that sniper that's sitting up in the hills. One shot, one kill. It's your job to take out the target, and you're going to wait until it wanders into your scope. So that's the cheap and easy way to do this, is to throw in the Heiken Ashi candles. The Japanese are very smart with that. Okay, let's see. BTC dominance. I don't think it matters right now about BTC dominance because everything's just getting destroyed. Okay, let's see. Do we do MKR? MKR. Yeah, we just did MKR. Okay, I think I'm caught up, everybody. So we will do this again next week. Maybe I'll talk Mavin to coming back with me. Maybe he's going to stay out there out west. I don't know. I can't blame him. Can't blame him. So thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me here today. I think we got through the list. May we have better times. I hope a week from now we have a lot more positive things to talk about. But I will warn you that capitulation is a very, very difficult process. But it's always darkest before the dawn. I've been through so many of these things before. You're ready to just pitch yourself out the window. And then a couple of days later, it's like flowers are blooming again. Everybody's positive, and it happens. Markets generally go from the lower left to the upper right, but they go through these weeding out processes from time to time, and this is one of them. So thanks, everybody. Again, my name's Doc Severson. I'll be back here next week, and if you want more of this, come join us. We're at ReadySetCrypto.com. I'm on ReadySet.trade every day, doing a live, we do live market mornings with the equity markets. We trade options and stocks. We do a lot of stuff. There's ReadySet.vision as well, too, for those of you that want a different way of looking at the crypto charts through some of the Glassnode architecture. Thanks, everybody. You guys have a wonderful Wednesday. I got a beer with a name on it, and I'm out of here. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.